10 years ago, a boy named Sato meets Hime and they become childhood friends. Hime and her grandfather, Alabaster, pop up into Japan one day from another world, and while they are in Japan, Sato is able to spend a lot of time with Hime. Eventually, Sato falls head over heels for her, but he becomes too scared to tell her about his feelings because Hime has a special wedding ring specifically set aside for her future husband. Suddenly one day, Hime spills the beans that she's heading back home. Sato can't bear the thought of her being gone, so he tails her to this teleportation spot. That's when she drops the bomb that her real name's Princess Crystal of Light Kingdom, and she's bound for an arranged marriage. Without thinking twice, Sato tags along to this place called Arnelis and ruins her wedding to this guy, Imperial Prince Marmarurgius, also known as Mars. Suddenly, however, an evil abyssal demon crashes the party, aiming to off Hime. Only her ring of light can take it down, so she saves Sato's skin by giving him the ring and a peck. Mars tosses Sato a sword, and he just instinctively zaps the demon with light magic. This turn of events actually means that Sato has taken over the prince's role as the hero of light, and that he now actually has to be Hime's husband and the new king of the Light Kingdom. Even though he internally freaks out, he's dead set on protecting Hime. And wouldn't you know it, Hime is starting to catch feelings for Sato too. But she's quick to remind him that their marriage is just a formality so they won't be intimate with each other. Meanwhile, more demons arrive, and Alabaster, who is actually a powerful mage of the Light Kingdom, helps to prepare Sato for future battles. In a conflict with the Abyss Kingdom, Sato gets hurt, and Alabaster explains that the ring gets its power from Sato and Hime's pretend marriage, so Sato's pretty weak. Sato has no choice but to run away from the kingdom with Alabaster, Hime, and Mars. Alabaster explains that Sato needs 4 more rings to get all his powers. To do that, Sato needs to somehow marry 4 princesses from other kingdoms who have those rings. Hime isn't thrilled about this plan. Those rings were made ages ago by the first Ring King to lock away the Abyss King. Each of his 5 wives got 1 ring and started the 5 kingdoms. Hime feels bad for Sato's weak powers, but he finally tells her how he feels, and she admits she loves him too. They're too jittery to get intimate, so they agree to date first. Meanwhile, Alabaster's not happy about this. Their first stop is Ronka, the elf kingdom where the princess has the wind ring. But 50 years ago, a wind barrier showed up around Ronka, so nobody except elves can get in. Some elf hunters help them find a secret way in. Unfortunately, Princess Nefertiti freaks out at anything from outside Ronka. When she finds out Sato and Hime are married, she runs off feeling sick. Jade, Nefertiti's brother, who's got a major obsession with his sister, traps Sato. The then Peridot, an elf elder who thinks the elves should reconnect with the outside world, sets Sato free. She sneaks him into the temple where the wind ring keeps up this barrier by sucking power from Nefertiti's parents' petrified bodies. After snatching Nefertiti, Peridot tells Sato not to worry, saying Nefertiti is tougher than she looks. Jade gets a hold of the ring, thinking Sato can't swipe it through marriage as long as Nefertiti hasn't taken it off her mom's finger. Sato manages to prove to Nefertiti that he's just a regular guy who ended up in this mess because he fell for Hime. She admits she's curious about the world, so he offers to show her around. But he won't push her into marrying him. She tries to stand up to Jade, but he makes her obey him. Peridot explains that Nefertiti's aunt was supposed to get the ring, but when her human lover got killed to stop him from marrying her and getting the ring, she cursed the kingdom to ruin and bolted. The ring ended up with her younger sister, Nefertiti's mom, who was so scared of the curse that she and her husband made Nefertiti swear never to leave the kingdom. Soon after, they sacrificed themselves to create the barrier to protect the kingdom. Meanwhile, an Abyss Knight manages to bust through the barrier. Sato fights the knight to save the kingdom but still isn't strong enough. Hime figures out that just their pretend marriage isn't cutting it. She gets over her jealousy and begs Nefertiti to marry Sato. Nefertiti smashes her parents' statues to grab their rings, one for herself and the wind ring for Sato, making the barrier vanish. With 2 rings, they beat the knight, who turns out to be Smaragdi, Nefertiti's aunt. She apologizes for what she did, explaining she got tricked and enslaved by the Abyss King using a fake wind ring. Later on, while they're all in a bath together, Hime tries to talk big about how they haven't done anything intimate to impress Nefertiti. But it backfires when Peridot joins in and wants to know all the details. Hime stubbornly offers Sato intimacy right then and there, but he feels pressured and declines. Meanwhile, Alabaster tells Smaragdi that her human lover wasn't murdered. He chose to leave, hoping her life would be easier without him being hated by her people. Now he's an old man living in another kingdom. Nefertiti decides to go with Sato to explore the world. Peridot reveals she was one of the original ring princesses and was married to the first ring king hundreds of years ago. And a little while later, Smaragdi realizes her old lover is actually Alabaster himself. As they journey, Hime gets more and more jealous of Sato paying attention to Nefertiti. She has a bad dream about being apart from him. They come across Nidakita, a traveling kingdom of merchants and cat people. Its princess has the fire ring, which disappoints Mars, who wanted to go to the water kingdom first. When the group gets split up, Nefertiti says sorry to Hime for getting in between her and Sato, and she reassures Hime that Sato loves her. Sato's surprised when all the girls in Nidakita admire Mars, but think he's weak. They meet back up at an arena where Princess Granart tests her potential husbands by fighting them. Sato steps up, but gets knocked out with one hit. Mars helps him train with a sword, and Alabaster teaches him magic for a rematch, but he doesn't improve much. Hime comforts him by saying she doesn't care if he's not strong. Later, Granart approaches Sato and she tells him she's tired of battling weak suitors and offers to lose their rematch so she can marry him and hand over the fire ring. Offended, he insists on fighting her for real and beating her. Meanwhile, Nefertiti tries to charm Sato, but he ignores her advances. He's unsure when she and Mars suggest using the rings against Granart. As their rematch begins, a suitor who's been defeated and is feeling envious gets tempted with a cursed ring by the Abyss King. He turns into an Abyss Knight and starts attacking with monsters. Granart's guards deal with the monsters, but the knight's shielded by flames. Sato uses the wind ring to put out the flames and the light ring to break the cursed ring, freeing him from the Abyss King's grip. Granart thinks Sato's proved himself, but he insists on the duel. As the duel starts, he immediately starts losing. But although he is losing, he won't use the rings because he wants to win with his own strength. Hime offers him support if he wins, which motivates him. Then he hears a voice that helps him turn the tables and win. Granart kisses him, gives him the fire ring, and she wants to be his most important partner, but he says Hime is his first wife. And although he is tired after the match, Sato and Hime cuddle together. Later, there's a big feast to celebrate Sato and Granart's marriage. Hime drinks too much and Sato takes her to her room. He tells her he eventually wants to go back to Earth with her. Meanwhile, Nefertiti and Granart show up and complain about his closeness with Hime compared to them. The gang makes it to Masa, the main city of the Kingdom of Water. Sato gets grabbed by a girl from the crowd who kisses him. Turns out, she's Princess Sapphire of the Dragon People, and her kiss gives Sato the Ring of Water. Sapphire pulls him into her kingdom's politics real quick. It turns out that Masa doesn't have its own army, so it borrows soldiers from Mars's country, the Gissurus Empire. The problem is that Mars's dad, the Emperor, as well as his older brother Prince Sluder are expansionists, and constantly expand their empire's lands. Princess Sapphire is worried they might try to attack Masa at some point. In addition, her father is quite sick and is reliant on Sluder and his mysterious seer benefactor. It turns out that Sapphire's twin sister, Saphira, was supposed to be the Ring Princess and marry the Ring King, who should have been Mars. But now she's mad at him and doesn't want anything to do with him because she thinks he broke his promise by letting someone else become Ring King. Sapphire tells Sato she married him so Saphira could be free to marry Mars, but that's looking unlikely now. Sapphire wants to prove that the seer is working for the Empire. Meanwhile, the seer orders some folks to eliminate Sato, but Granart and Alabaster keep stopping them. Mars confesses to Sato that he never wanted to be Ring King because it's too much pressure, plus it would mean taking Hime away from Sato, which wouldn't be right. Sluder pushes Mars to stay loyal to the Empire. Soon after, the seer hands Mars an order from the Emperor during the next monster attack, betray Sato and become the Ring King. The seer tells Mars that if he finishes his job, his dad, the Emperor, will finally respect him and hands him a sword that can cancel out magic. Mars remembers all the times his dad called him a failure, and the sword starts controlling him. Sluder leads soldiers to fight off monsters, but one sneaks through and attacks the palace. While Alabaster takes it on, Mars goes after Sato. A voice tells Sato he can beat the magic-canceling sword and take out Mars, but he refuses. Trusting their friendship, Sato lets himself get stabbed, which snaps Mars out of it. Then Sato smashes the cursed gem on the sword. The seer gets furious and turns out she's actually an Abyss Knight, and the one sending the monsters. She grabs Saphira. Sato and Mars rescue her, and she falls in love with Mars again. Then Sapphire kisses Sato and uses the water ring to turn into a dragon and defeat the monster, so the seer runs off. Sapphire's dad gets better and tells Sluder that Masa and Gissurus will be equal partners from now on. He's cool with Sato and Sapphire getting hitched and gives Mars and Saphira the green light to marry. Meanwhile, the seer returns back to the Emperor, who is unamused by her performance, and he eliminates her. He vows to take down anyone who tries to stop his plan, even the Abyss King and the Ring King. Meanwhile, the girls want to stay with Sato, but he is uncomfortable with all the attention. The voice he keeps hearing tells Sato to stop resisting and just accept all four of them, but he says Hime will always come first, and asks her out on a date without the others. Alabaster keeps bugging Sato to get closer to Hime during the date, and secretly, Hime hopes for it too. During the date, the other girls disguise themselves and watch from afar. People keep interrupting them, wanting to meet the Ring King. They try to kiss at a park where couples go, but Sato's too nervous to do it in public. The other girls leave disappointed when nothing happens. Still, Nefertiti is glad they're all becoming friends. Hime tells Sato that even though she liked the date, she knows she can't keep him to herself and suggests he include all his wives in the future. Sato kisses her, and for a moment they think about their future, but they come to their senses and go back to the palace. The next day, they head to Idenokan, the dwarf kingdom high in the mountains where they have the Earth Ring. But after the last war with the Abyss King, most of the dwarves were wiped out, and the few survivors hid underground. So Alabaster isn't sure if there's even a dwarf princess left, let alone one with the Earth Ring. The gang spends 3 days trekking through the mountains. At night, Sato asks Alabaster why they're bothering to collect the rings when the Empire already fights against the Abyss King without them. So far, nobody they've met believes much in the power of the Ring King. Alabaster's sure everything will work out when the time's right, but as Sato sleeps, Alabaster worries he's not doing his job as the Great Sage. They finally get to Idenokan but find it all wrecked. They decide to start looking around, hoping they'll somehow find the Earth Ring. Hime's sure someone's watching them. They find out the dwarves were big on making robots and other machines powered by magic, including Granart's home, the moving kingdom of Nidakita. Suddenly, one robot wakes up, powered by another of the Abyss King's rings. Angry about the dwarves being wiped out, it attacks Sato. It tries to get him to stop fighting for others and go back to his own world. But Sato's set on fighting for Hime's home, and beats the robot. All of a sudden, the cursed ring teleports to the Abyss King and brings him back to life. He sends a ton of abyssal demons after the group. Seeing no way to win, Alabaster teleports Sato and the girls back to Japan, but Mars stays behind to fight with Alabaster. Sato and the girls settle in at his place. Hime finds a letter from Alabaster telling her where he stashed his money, and to live happily with Sato. They help Nefertiti, Granart, and Saphir get used to the modern world and get them some new clothes. Hime and Sato go back to school, but at home, they're still too shy to be together. One night, Amber Idenokan, who has the Earth Ring, shows up to them. She says the dwarves made her a robot based on the dwarf princess, and sent her to Earth to keep the Earth Ring safe until she met the Ring King. She's ready to send them back to Arnellis, but Hime won't go because she doesn't want Sato to get hurt, and wants to just live happily with him on Earth. Sato spends time with Amber, and after she talks about duty, he decides to kiss her to get the Earth Ring. He tells Hime they can't keep running away, and need to beat the Abyss King to truly be happy. Finally in agreement, Amber makes a portal to Arnellis for Sato and the girls to leave Earth. The group arrives at Idenokan and sees soldiers battling hard against the Abyss King and his demons. Sato fights through the demons to go after him. The voice makes his 5 rings combine into one to make them stronger, and he chops the Abyss King in half. But his left side, where the cursed rings are, doesn't die. It shocks even the voice, and the Abyss King tortures Sato, who is totally worn out. The girls rescue him, but they're surrounded by demons. Sato dreams of marrying Hime, and then getting tortured by the Abyss King. He wakes up to find Alabaster and Smaragdi saved them on a big bird, and the Abyss King ran off because of his wounds. They stop in a town and meet up with Mars. Alabaster says the cursed rings kept the Abyss King alive. He says back in the day, the Ring King's wives fought with him, so all the girls will need to train together to become stronger as a team. Meanwhile, all the girls try to charm Sato, but he's still too nervous to accept all of them. Finally, they all go to Hime's parents' grave to pay respects, united in their mission to become stronger and deepen their relationships so they can defeat the Abyss King. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.